right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Green White Checkered TV. Tonight we have the Area 51 Super Speedway Gen 4 series here tonight at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And it will be a scheduled 90-lap race this evening here. And as always, rules as always apply. There will be one fast pair of 3 green white checkered attempts. And then, yeah, so let's go and see what these drivers have in store. A great car count tonight. It's in the mid to upper 20s on the side. Unfortunately, I'll be rolling a little bit solo tonight. Hope Matt starts feeling better. So he was a bit under the weather, so he's going to take it easy tonight. So, Matt, get well soon. And so you can see the logo on the intro. You saw the logo right now as well. One of our kind donations was asked if we could basically kind of bring awareness to Mission 22. Obviously, a really tough one to... it's a tough one that people have to deal with, but it's really important, obviously, to bring awareness to it, and that's exactly what Mission 22 does, which is, again, you see on the thing, united in the war against veteran suicide. So, actually, speaking of which, I'll say one of those, one of our own broadcasters, hasn't been able to broadcast lately, but Chris Matthews, it's his birthday today, so Chris, happy birthday. Hope you're doing well, sir. And so basically the link that you see on the YouTube, that's going to his fundraiser for his birthday for Mission 22. So if you're interested or able to, I'll say, of course, any and all donations over to Mission 22, always very appreciated. So, so big thank you to the sponsor, helping bring attention to them. And then, of course, also, as I mentioned, over bringing the for Chris doing just kind of bringing awareness and also, again, trying to raise some money for them for his own birthday. So big thank you to those guys. So tonight, 90 laps here at Atlanta. After the couple of races we had so far, it is a tie at the top of the points board. Vicente Guerrero and Adam Kilday both with 74 points, 155 total laps that each of them have completed. Hiding in the shadows just a little bit back there is Rick Sanchez in third, 8 points out of the lead. And then you got Nick Wing there in fourth, Ryan Decker in fifth. Ryan actually has a 3-way tie with Gabe Butler and Kevin Freeze as well. And I think, unfortunately, might have a couple of them not here this evening. So hopefully all's well for those guys. And Ryan and Caitlin, of course, hope you guys are all doing well. I'll say always thinking about you all. So yeah, I got about a minute left in qualifying. Looks like a lot of drivers opting to qualify tonight. I got about 21 that have put a lap down. And yeah, this is going to be a very interesting track. Again, 1.5 mile track with the reconfiguration, races like Super Speedway. But that means feels like everything's happening a little bit quicker. So there's going to be a lot going on for these drivers here tonight. And yeah, we're going to see how it all shakes out. Of course, that yellow and, well, in this case, white and red line is in effect. So these drivers are not allowed to pass below that white and red line. Of course, they're going to dip under it here and there. That's just, again, try to give room to the cars on the outside through the tri-oval section. And that's going to be, to me, probably one of the dangerous spots of the track. But then also, it's going to be interesting, the fuel and tire strategies here tonight. Sounds like these guys will have a lot of fuel in the tanks here tonight. Probably can actually go roughly half distance on fuel, so possibly 45-ish laps on fuel. So if that's the case, caution free would make it to that 90-lap mark on the one stop. However, again, with the difficulty of this track, I'm kind of leaning towards we'll probably get a yellow or two in the mix here, just the way this track runs. And this is also, talking to drivers, is going to be pretty abrasive on the tires. These guys are going to start to wear their stuff out. So we're going to have to see what they have in store for us. So with that, I believe qualifying has just completed. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull up that starting grid for tonight. We're going to try to find our front row here. And there they are. So, all right. So our pole sitter for tonight is going to be the 88 of Gabe Butler, Rick Sanchez to his outside. Then you got Seth Groover, Adam Kilday, Corey Buskirk, our top 5. Nick Wing, Carl Lingle, Ed DeBoer, Eric Laurie, Patrick Groover, our top 10. Jacob Lee, Jason Bogart, their 11th and 12th. Continuing down, you've got Vicente Guerrero, Jack Walls, Zach Perry, Jeremy Osborne, Nathan Warner, Jerry Bergeron, Quabi Brooks, Mike Rimkus, Bud Steele, Frank Ranger Jr., and then drivers opting not to put a lap down tonight are going to be Tom Dixon and Jim Brooks, Ambrose Knable, Bob Fitzgerald and Dean Wilkinson will be those drivers opting to start a little further back here. So again, looks like 27 cars. A few haven't quite fully gridded yet. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. You can see the front row right here with Rick and Gabe on that front row, and they're going to lead the field to green here in just a moment. All right, looks like all the cars have gridded, and so here they go. They're going to roll off here for their warm-up lap, and then we will get things underway in just a moment. All right, so heading into turn number 3, they're gonna get ready to get this thing underway. Again, pace car is gonna make that sharp left onto pit road. That's gonna hand it over to that front row of Gabe Butler and Rick Sanchez, and they will lead this field again. 90 laps are scheduled distance, not the normal 75. As I will say, that restart zone green flag is out, and we're underway here at Atlanta. 90 laps are scheduled distance as they get underway. As they come out of forward, Gabe Butler going to lead lap number 1. And so far, so good. Looks like everybody's able to kind of get situated. But, man, Seth Gruber all over the rear bumper of Gabe Butler there as we were watching there. As they will jump out the back of that number 88. And you can see the field fairly spread out right now as he's coming down the back stretch. The last car just coming out 2 now. But right now it looks like everybody's same thing, just trying to kind of get a feel for this car. Sounds like it's going to be a bit of a difficult combo here tonight, with the track temperature, then of course just the difficulty of the track itself. Right now you see Seth's going to peek to the outside, but at the moment doesn't have the help that he'd be hoping for. But you know, somewhere lurking in the background is going to be a brother ready to help him out here. So just speaking of brothers, I think Patrick was listening and he knew he was going to try to get up there to Seth, and so they're going to try to lead this outside line here in just a moment. And so again, not a surprise at all to see these two, and they don't like to just roll. They want to get to the top. They want to try to control the pace of this race. So that's exactly what we're seeing out of those Gruber brothers here starting lap number 5. Right now, it looks like a lot of field feeling pretty comfortable being on the inside line. Say good evening to Paige and to Ramrod. I'll say we'll jump back here. We'll find those two drivers you're talking about, Jason Bogart and Zach Perry. And here they are just outside, yeah, just outside the top 10 right now. There is that 76 of Zach Perry, Jason Bogart there right behind him in that Flex Seal machine. Right now those guys are cruising pretty comfortably. And again, looks like these guys kind of just right now running their own strategy here, not really trying to push too early at this point in the race. So yeah, pretty much right where they started for the 017 in 12th. Zach Perry's gained 4 spots up to 11th. So that's a good opening stint for these guys. Again, still a long ways to go. Only on lap number 7, 90 lap race. And again, though, we mentioned fuel mileage could be interesting to see. Can these guys go one stop or not? Then we got one. It's kind of lost the pack here. We'll go back, take a look. And yeah, it looks like Frank Granger Jr., he's kind of fallen off the pack here. Not sure, maybe. So this is an easy track to kind of get stuck up against the wall. These cars are not symmetrical, so the way these cars are shaped, they kind of were nicknamed the Twisted Sisters because basically these cars were basically built to kind of get through the track and kind of just the least amount of drag and downforce, just trying to make it the best way they could. And so yeah, so basically the right rear kind of sticks out a little further than the right front, so it's very easy to get pulled into the outside wall with these cars. So so we got the tramp stamp for the 017 and the 76. That's some pretty good dedication right there. So right now, kind of a couple of our highest climbers. We just mentioned Patrick Groover in the 54. He is currently up into the 5th position. Another driver that's up 5 spots, actually now 6 spots as I say that, is that number 1 of Jerry Bergeron right now. Jerry working to the outside here. He's trying to work with Jack Walls, it appears, to try to move on forward. And like I said, right now everybody's pretty comfortable here running this inside line. Like I said, I think these guys are maybe just trying to either kind of just build up confidence and feel things out a little bit, or maybe some fuel saving. We'll have to wait and see. But I say some of the drivers did mention, though, that there is pretty significant tire wear. So some of the guys also might be trying to keep their stuff underneath them. That way they have the tires at the later stages of this race. Jack Wall's also now moving up a fair bit too. He is up 6 spots, about to be 7. He's on the outside of Carl Lingle. He's in that number 30 machine with the Blind Squirrel Racing team. And then I'll say we did mention this teammate that kind of fell off the pack, unfortunately. That said, it's obviously not the start that he's hoping for, but really happy to see Frank Granger Jr. back on track. Had no power after one of the hurricanes, then no internet for a while, so really happy to see Frank back there. And then unfortunately see behind him one of his teammates, Ambrose Kniebel. That right front's got a little bit of damage to it. I'm going to say probably got a little bit of love to that outside wall somewhere. So again, that's going to definitely affect the handling of that car. So that's, I think, why we're seeing the 04 fall off a little bit. But up front, though, it's kind of been the 80 and 5. They've been able to kind of control the pace on that inside lane. But again, the Groovers, though, aren't going to settle. They're going to eventually keep trying to push for this and see if they can get themselves back to the point, see if they can control this race as it's just starting lap number 13. Oh, as I say that, both cars catching the wall. 32 stuck in the outside wall. It's really easy to get stuck to it. And he's going to have to wait for the field because you have to really kind of pull it aggressively off the wall. And, man, that's some significant right front damage to Seth here. And so what he's going to have to do is the same thing, just kind of try to limp it along as best he can. I don't think he'll come in yet. I think he's going to hope and see if maybe we get a caution to help his cause. But that was exactly what we were just talking about. And you see Patrick right now, too. He's kind of a little bit up to the outside here. We're going to go 3 wide for a moment. Jack Wall is going to try to sneak around, and I think they're going to be able to get back settled 2 wide here. Oh, as I said, though, Patrick's now hooked on the outside wall, able to pull it off. Oh, man, that was close between he and the 41 there, Jeremy Osborne. But, yeah, I'd say that's the difficulty of these cars at this track is it does appear to kind of have that tendency. It looks like these cars may start to get tight over the course of the run. And so it might just be one of those, it might be a tire temperature thing, it might be wear. But either way, though, you can see already it's starting to catch a few of these drivers out. drop back just a little further there. I would say peeking over at Nathan Warner. He's on the outside lane. He's kind of got that Kevin Harvick paint scheme on his 37. He's up 7 spots from his starting position at the moment, so a really good start for him. And you can see, yeah, I think these cars are starting to show the wear on the tires. So you can see these guys, they're not able to hug that white and red line. They're all starting to drift up just a little bit on exit here. So I think these cars are starting to get a little bit of difficulty in the way they're handling. So these cars definitely not the happiest at the moment. And I can tell you, I think we're seeing some cars kind of getting put together now. Seth Groover's with Frank Ranger. Jim Brooks is, where's he? He's kind of fallen off the pack a little bit as well in the 51. He's got a couple behind him, Bob Fitzgerald and Tom Dixon. So he's got a little ways to go to get back up to Dean, but car looks clean. So it may have just been a little bit of a hiccup or maybe got checked up somewhere. But right now, all's looking pretty solid up front. And then, yeah, like I said, right now, kind of calm-ish, I'd say, is the best way to put it for the moment. But obviously still a lot going on. And we got a peek over at Bud Steele. He's in that number 6 Navy machine. Right now, Bud is in the 16th spot, started in 21st, so he's up 5 positions at the moment. And right now, like I said, I think Bud, same thing. I think he's just kind of easing into it. And you can see also on the side of that car, he'll try to get a good shot there right in front of the rear tire. He's got that Mission 22 logo there as well. So, again, big thank you to Bud and everybody else that's kind of bringing attention and awareness to that amazing organization. He's just going to catch the inside or outside wall. It looks like he's going to hang on to it, though. That's about the best you can hope for with catching the wall there. And I think what happened there is he caught up to Jeremy Osborne really quickly, and I think what he did there was try to basically roll out of it. That got the car tight, and then unfortunately that got him up into that wall. So I don't think that's going to hurt him too bad. I think he's going to be all right. But yeah, definitely, again, these things, this track will get you pretty quickly here. And I can tell you, the pace of the race has really slowed down right now. Some of these guys, their best laps were in the low 30-second bracket. We're in the mid to upper 31s right now. Not sure if this is a pace for fuel saving, tire saving, maybe a little bit of both. Or again, it just might be these tires are starting to wear a little bit and they just don't have the grip that they had earlier. So it's going to be interesting to see again who can kind of manage their stuff the best and maybe start to make the most ground. Right now, I am seeing a lot of drivers start to creep on forward. We haven't talked about Eric Laurie. Started in 9th. He is up into the top 5. He's had a really solid run here early on. And also, like I mentioned, Jack Walls there. Jack's up, like we talked about a little earlier. He's up 8 spots at the moment. And then just kind of creeping in the picture here is as well Jacob Lee. I'll say Jacob's usually one known for kind of being able to take care of his stuff and be around at the end of this thing. So don't see too much aggression from him yet. But as I say that, he's all over the rear bumper of Eric Laurie. I say I may have spoken too soon. Looks like he's trying to get the 071 here cleared of the 83. So a little further back, you have that 14 of Vicente Guerrero. I say he's in that. So I got to get Vince Service and Repair. I'm going to get that sponsor right eventually here. But Vince right now just kind of cruising. I actually got the Miami Dolphins scheme on the side of that thing as well. And yeah, so far holding pretty steady at the moment here. Good evening, Bubba. Good evening, Mama Groover. Doing all right. Say it's been definitely a bit of a challenging couple of days, but overall doing pretty well. I say definitely always love to see you here supporting your boys. They were up front early. They kind of got a little bit of some wall touching, but right now I think we're starting to see that brotherly love again, though I think Patrick went ahead and dropped back to pick up his brother Seth, and just again to kind of help their overall pace, because again, we're still very, very early in this one. So the more that they can do to help one another now, the easier it's going to be for them later on in this one. So again, not even quite at a quarter distance in this race as of yet. So, or no, sorry, we are at a quarter distance. Haven't quite got to the 1/3 distance, which will be lap number 30. But again, fuel-wise, it's going to be fuel versus tires, in my opinion. What's going to be kind of hitting these guys first? Are the tires going to wear out and they feel like they need tires, or are they going to need to pit for fuel before that? So, yeah, it's going to be It's going to be pretty fun to see. Yeah, I mean, not say this, not going to do any jinxing, but I do feel like this is a strong track for Rick. I feel like he's I mean, he's good everywhere, but I feel like Atlanta's one that I've always seen him kind of just excel even more at. So if there's a track for it, this would be a good option. And he's got some good help right behind him with Adam Kilday. Man, Adam is all over the back there. So we'll hop on board with that number 85 here, and we'll watch Adam here through a lap here around Atlanta. And you can hear right there, these guys are lifting out a little bit on entry to try to keep these things kind of under control, maybe keep that push out of them. So you can see he caught real close. Now he's kind of backed a little bit back off again. Jerry's still doing a great job in the one car. He is up 12 spots now into 6th. And also Dean Wilkinson, now he's starting to charge himself forward as well, up 11 spots in that 55. But now he's starting to get some pressure from Jason Bogart. We can start to see there's a little bit of separation. You see the 53 of Quabi Brooks. It's about a second almost to Carl Lingle. Again, still safe enough to stay in that draft, but you can see, though, these cars are all starting to drift off that bottom. So I'm going to see if I can find an angle here to kind of give you all a better view of how they're drifting out on the entry here. I think this will kind of be, but yeah, you can see nobody's really running that white and yellow line here. Oh, as you see one up against the wall, I think that was Nathan Warner, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's going to get away with it. Doesn't look like he's too bad of shape, but again, this every little mistake here just definitely is coming back to bite. And yeah, right now these guys are doing a really good job with very difficult circumstances at the moment. Talked about a couple squirrels. Haven't talked about Corey Buskirk at the moment. He is in that 998 machine. He is right inside that top 5 as the moment in the 4th position. So right now Corey having a good early run, started in 5th, currently in 4th. So you see Jerry Bergeron, he's ready to try to get some more positions in that number 1. And again, he's one of our highest climbers up, bouncing between 13, 14 spots gained depending on the traffic, but he is getting a big run here down the front stretch. He's almost got to the side of Adam Kilday. One car is looking very strong here early. One of the few that's really been able to make some big charges forward. Haven't had a chance to chat about Nick Wing yet, but here he is in that number 28 Snickers machine. Right now also in just outside the top 10 in 11th. And behind him you've got that Dodge Challenger, I apologize, of Ed DeBoer. And not sure if it's scheduled pit stop here, but Bud Steele pitting on lap number 31. Car looks okay, so I'm not sure if this is maybe a strategy of trying to split it, or maybe something he didn't like the feel of that car. But a little surprised to see. But I could talk about if it's fuel or tires first. Maybe Bud was feeling those tires were not very happy. But again, this will be a track that you're gonna wind up going a lap down. As I say that, he's rolling on pit road now. Field's already by, so right now that's going to trap Bud 1 down here. And look at Jerry, though. He is on a mission here. He's going to work the outside of Rick. Rick's just to his left right now. There's Rick just peeking in the picture. But yeah, Jerry is on it here. Jim Brooks also now on pit road in the 51. So these guys opting go ahead and pit a little early. I think they're feeling tires might be more important and maybe don't have the fuel mileage as well to make it to that lap 45 mark. So we'll have to keep an eye on them, keep an eye on their lap times. But right now, top 3 starting to sneak away just a little bit here from Adam Kilday. And like you talked about, I mean, this is kind of Atlanta's almost turning into the old Daytona where handling matters. These guys got to find a way to manage their stuff. A little further back there, Jacob Lee having a good little fight there with Vicente. And right now, looking at pit stop times, looks like Bud's already gone by Jim. Jim's going to start to build it back up to speed. And I think Jim might be at risk here of possibly going even 2 down, because I say he's just rolling out of pit road now. Here comes the field. So I think this might trap Jim 2 laps down at the moment. But what I want to do in just a moment is I want to try to take a look at lap times when Bud gets fully up to song. See, maybe he is, I say there's going to be that kind of short-term gain, potential long-term loss. I think the big question is just going to be fuel mileage. Is if these guys can go to 45, that's going to be the right approach. So right now, though, we still have the 15 cars in this main pack. Unfortunately, a bit of a breakaway now over Carl Lingle, who is in 16th. He's got Nathan Warner with him, and then a little further back, you got Jeremy Osborne right there. Jim Brooks, again, just pitted. Mike Grimkus, Bob Fitzgerald right there as well. Then you got Patrick Groover, Seth Groover, and Tom Dixon all running together as well, just a little further back. So, yeah, right now, though, a lot of movers or comers and goers. Let me try to find some lap times here. Where's Bud Steele? So, yeah, last time by, Bud Steele ran a 30.64. Leaders was a 32.02 for Gabe Butler. 31.75 this time. So that said, Bud's over a second a lap faster. As you can see, the 04 gets real tight on entry. He's going to wash up. That's going to let Gabe be able to cut right back down, though, and get that exit off. Run the inside lane here. Again, about 10 laps away from that fuel window being open for a one-stop race. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But, yeah, right now these guys starting to have just a little breakaway. Corey Buskirk's trying to chase them right back down here. So, right now you can see the field just starting to really spread out, and it's kind of showing those that have taken care of their equipment versus those that have maybe tried to start burning off, unfortunately, their tires a little bit. So, again, still a long, long ways to go in this one. So it's going to be interesting to see how the strategy's panning out. But kind of poking around a little bit here. We saw Adam Kilday earlier. He was way towards the front here. He's dropped a fair bit back. Now looking to see, is that right front? No, right front looks good. I was wondering maybe he caught the wall just a teeny bit in his 85 machine, but car looks pretty solid. So, like I said, right now the top 15 here all still locked down together. And here come new tires. Let's say Jim Brooks is going to show, hey, this is what new tires feel like. You guys might like them. So, but again, though, it's that risk versus reward. But, man, look at the pace that the 51 has, especially through the turns. He just go right around the top here. The hard part for him is going to be when he catches traffic. If they're in the lane he wants to be in, he's going to start to slow down a little bit to avoid those guys. Like right now, he's going to be between a rock and a hard place because he's going to catch that 04 of Ambrose Kniebel. But it looks like he was able to clear the 21 of Jacob Lee before that. So I think as long as the 04 doesn't drift too high, yeah, it looks like 51 will be able to clear him as well. And I'm saying right now, he's just trying to get back to one lap down right now, sitting 2 down in the moment. Again, with that early pit stop that he had, along with Bud Steele. Bud's starting to just make his way through the field a little further back, but a lap ahead. But like I said, lap time-wise, though, yeah, Bud's still in the 30-second bracket. These guys up ahead are in the 32-second bracket. So, but once again, the number 1, Jerry Bergeron, he's ready to go. He's going to make another charge to the outside. Jim's working there, too, to try to get that 2 down to 1 down. So he's going to have to see if he can find a way to stay on the top side. Hopefully he doesn't get cars jumping to the outside here. But yeah, this is one of those things you wish you weren't 2 laps down, because right now you feel like a hero compared to these guys on these old tires. And there he goes. He's going to unlap himself of one of the 2 laps. So now Jim just 1 down instead of the 2 that he was just a moment ago. All right, and so right now we're on lap 41. And so, yeah, so we're going to kind of keep an eye and see it. Like I said, I think about 5 more laps, the magic window. To me, if they can go 46, that's all the better. And again, this is a track you will go a lap down under green flag pit stops. So I think the further you can go, the better. And saying this will be fun to see as well, lap time-wise compared. So we'll watch Gabe Butler ran a 32.10. Jim Brooks was a 31.22. Bud Steele a 30.82. So, again, these guys using those fresher tires to gain some track position back after, of course, giving some up for that pit stop cycle. And then also got to mention track temperature at the moment is about 102 degrees. So not roasting, definitely not super cool by any means either. So, again, these guys are going to definitely have to drive it. I did mention at the beginning, but also relay it now because we're about to hit that window. This is a track where the admins do request the drivers to call out their pit entries, because at that point, that's going to be, again, drivers can make some adjustments. But I say I'm starting to see some change. You see Jerry, he's starting to fall back a little bit. Vicente starting to make a good charge here in the 14 car. He's worked his way now up into that top 5 into 4th. So I think Vince, same thing, took great care of his car early on, and now he's going to try to get the benefit of that. So again, that's going to be the strategy here is try to maintain your stuff and then use it when everybody else starts to burn theirs up, and while still hanging on to the track. And he's done a great job of that. And showed Seth Groover. Oh, Seth Groover there off track here. I think he may have just had a little mum. We'll go back. We'll try to see if we can catch a look here. Wonder if it maybe was a pit entry. Oh, yeah, just got a little too hot and didn't make it into pit road in time. So tough break for him there. We'll jump back live as the leaders here are about to start lap number 45. And so here we are. Next time by, we'll be halfway in this race. Unfortunately for Seth, will be an unsafe pit entry. Can tell you Jack Wall's in pit road. So it's starting, I say he's one of our first leaders to cycle. So he's splitting it right on the number here. Maybe trying to do a bit of an undercut, if you will. Try to pit a little earlier. Maybe get some track position on those fresher tires. And now we wait and see. Do these guys pit as soon as that window is open? Or are they going to try to stretch it a little further? I think we've got our answer. Looks like a little further is going to be the plan for these guys. So, and I agree. I think this is the way to go as we're now at the halfway point in this race. And then one of those guys that short pitted, Bud Steele, here he comes. He's got a little bit of trouble there. Ambrose Knebel caught the apron. Looks like he's going to hang on. He's going to drop down to the apron, let those guys go. But again, they're going to have to give him room so he can get back out on track. Oh, man, that's really close quarter there. So that's where you start to get a little nervous. They got some pit stops going on as well. See the 04 there's trying to up too hot on entry. Gabe Butler, Eric Laurie, Dean Wilkinson in. So here we go. Pit stop starting to cycle with 44 to go. And you see Bud Steele, he's trying to get himself back onto the lead lap here before pit stop cycle. So we'll see how that goes for him. But yeah, be ready to see some more drivers hit pit road for their scheduled stops here. And there's what fresh tires look like. And yeah, here comes the 5. He's going to hit pit road. Vince is going to go out another lap. He's going to bring the 1 and the 998 along with him. So it's like good entries for those guys. Well, I'll try to keep an eye and see. But right now, yeah, Vicente Guerrero, he's got good fuel mileage. He's going to go a little further. He's got Ed DeBoer right behind him. Then you got Nick Wing right on that pack as well. Then Quabi Brooks just a little further back here. But these guys trying to stretch their fuel out a little further. But right now, a great job by all these guys getting in and out of pit road. I think, like we mentioned, calling their pit stops as well. And yeah, these guys are going really far on fuel. Looks like they've done a great job on the fuel mileage. Looks like the 53 on pit road. Looks like safely down to speed here. So that's going to leave about, I think, 7 cars yet to pit. And there's the new tires versus old tires. Look at that 32. He is just going to swing right around the 14 car. You see Bud Steele as well. I think he's probably used up the good in his tires in that number 6. As 32, same thing. Brand new tires just going to go right on by. But yeah, great fuel mileage here out of the 14 of Vicente Guerrero. And again, I think these guys are just, they are kind of banking on maybe a untimely caution during the pit stop cycle. So I think they want to stay out as long as they can. We just saw Jason Bogart. He is hitting pit road as we speak. Tom Dixon in as well, which leaves these 3 cars as the drivers yet to make their first scheduled pit stop. So again, should be very, very soon here as we're about to approach 40 to go in this one as we've gone green so far. And yeah, here comes Vince. He's going to cut left here, bring it down to speed. And here come the other 2, Nick Wing and DeBoer. They're going to bring it alongside as well. Good entry for Nick. Get it down to speed. I think they may have gained a little bit of time there. And so now the furthest up driver of those that pitted early is going to be Bud Steele. So I think once everything cycles around, he's going to net as the leader. But again, though, he pitted on lap number 30, about 15 laps or so earlier than those other guys. So his tires are already going to start to wear. And then he's also going to have to make one more pit stop in this race. So Bud's going to kind of have to probably hope for a timely yellow to get into the thick of this one. Otherwise, I expect just the way Bud's kind of timing this thing, he'll probably pit in another 10 or so laps. But you can see, though, yeah, now that number 6 car to the point. And again, by a pretty healthy margin, he's got about an 8-second, actually, no, it's like 9, almost 10-second gap. And at the beginning of the time, we mentioned the early pit stall by Jack Walls. I think that worked out well for Jack because right now he is battling for the lead right alongside of Gabe. Add Rick Sanchez to the mix, add Eric Laurie, Corey Buzzkirk, Jerry Bergeron. They're all right together. Those extra laps, though, for Vicente Guerrero, he's about 3.5, 4 seconds back off these guys. So we'll see, can his tires difference maybe start to chase those guys back down, or is he going to need the draft to recover? So, but right now, though, other than I think Bud and Jim Brooks, I think the rest of the fields can make it to the end from here on fuel. Now it's all about tires and try to manage those guys for the remaining 40. So what we can do is, while everybody's kind of cycled through here, let's run through the field. Right now, our race leader on a different strategy is Bud Steele. Actually, Nick Wing on pit road. Unscheduled stop for him, but we'll jump back up. I'll try to keep an eye and see what happened to Nick, but let's run through the field here with Bud Steele, currently our leader. Right behind him by about 6.5 seconds and closing. It's been bouncing between Gabe Butler and Rick Sanchez. Right now, Rick was there ahead. Now Gabe is, so you see the 5 and the 88. They've been pretty much running nose to tail all race long. Then right behind them, Eric Laurie in that John Deere machine in the 4th position. Right behind Eric is Corey Buskirk in that number 998 with the Blind Squirrel team. Jerry Bergeron here in the number 1 in the 6th spot. And then Jack Walls right now in the last car in this main pack here in the 7th position. Got to go about 3, almost 4 seconds back to this next pack, being led by Vicente Guerrero. We'll keep it on his laps times compared to the leaders right now. He ran a 30.78, but he sits in 8th. Zach Perry right behind him in that 76 car in 9th. Dean Wilkinson rounding out our top 10 there, plus 17 at the moment for him. And then Quabi Brooks there in 11th on this main pack as well. And then about 2 seconds back is Patrick Groover in the 54. He's leading that group with Adam Kilday, Jacob Lee right there along with him in the 21, and then Ed DeBoer in the number 12 car there. So they've got about 10 seconds back to this guy here, Jason Bogart, who's about to have some friends for visit him, including Mike Grimkiss in the 79. Bob Fitzgerald there in the 08. Oh, Jim Brooks stuck up against the wall. We'll take a look. I think, yeah, he is able to pull it off the wall. Jeremy Osborne, yeah, just to mention Jim Brooks there, kind of getting stuck on the outside wall. And then we get to Tom Dixon, who I believe is currently the last car on the lead lap, and it's not by much because here comes Bud Steele. And then while we're watching all that, here come the fresh tires. And it's going to be Rick Sanchez now at the point over Gabe Butler. You see the number 30 to the outside there. That was Carl Lingle. And so, yeah, so right now this is going to show you the tire difference between the 5 and the 6. And it felt really good for Bud earlier. You see the 411. He's kind of stuck up against the wall. He's able to get it off 30s right behind him. And they're able to react accordingly. That was very, very close call there. Bud Steele's going to hit pit road as soon as they caught him. He's pitting with 33 to go. And so same thing for Bud here. He will drop a lap down, but he will also, again, have slightly fresher tires in the field. This time it won't be 30 lap fresher tires, though. It'll be about 15 plus lap fresher, so it'll still be better. But yeah, so right now starting to get, again, now this is the fight once more for the lead with the 5, the 88, and the 1. They've been able to break away just a little bit again from that. Now the 4th place of Eric Laurie in the 071, as well as Corey Buskirk. But lap time wise, though, Vicente's coming. It was a 30.96 last lap for him to a 31.13 for Rick. So only about 2/10. But again, though, it's been going. I think it was more the previous lap. But you also see for Vince here, he's having to pretty much do it solo. He doesn't have the draft help that he'd love to be getting right now. So, but he is going the right way. So he just needs to start to sniff a little bit of draft from these guys. We're going to jump back up front because this has been a really good fight between the 5, the 1, the 88. And you can see Eric Laurie, I think he said, all right, let me pick it up a little bit here, try to chase these guys right back down. So also Jim Brooks back on pit road for his second scheduled stop. Again, he and Bud Steele opting to try to do that short pit strategy, which unfortunately does not appear to be the way that they were hoping it was going to go. But again, still a lot of time left in this one. We do have a number of drivers multiple laps down on the ticker there. You see, again, Tom Dixon, Bud Steele, 1 lap down. Bud had just pitted. I believe Jim's going to drop to 2 laps down at that pit cycle. Nick Wing, Seth Groover also 1 down. And then, yeah, Carl Engel, Jim Brooks, Frank Ranger, 2 laps down. and then Nathan Warner 3, and then Ambrose Knebel was a few more laps down for there after that. So not the nights they're hoping for, but again, this is a very difficult, very tricky track here at Atlanta. So yeah, still a lot of time to go in this, and we'll see. I mean, there's still 29 to go. Tires are going to start to wear one more time at this point towards the end. We saw, again, you got to make sure you're not being too aggressive on them, not abusing them too much. And then also those that may be pitted really close to the window, make sure you don't use too much fuel as well. So I'm just trying to find that balance, but he's caught the field here. Look at Vince here. Again, it's not a huge difference, but Vince pitted at lap number 50. Jack Walls was lap 44. So this is 6 lap fresher tires for the 14 car. And Vince is using them to their full potential right now. And then the difference between he and some of the other guys, the 47 or lap 47 for Rick and Jerry, as well as Corey, 46 for Gabe and Eric. So he's got about a 3 to 4 lap buffer on those guys. And right now, I mean, it seems to be showing, but again, we'll hop on board all the way here. And you can just listen and hear that these guys are lifting on entry here, just again due to that tire wear. So right now, again, the top 7 all still within reach of each other. Dean Wilkinson, he's leading the second pack, which is slowly gaining, not as quick as Vince was, but he's bringing a couple guys along as well with the 53. The 76 is Zach Perry, the 54 of Patrick Groover. These guys still within kind of reaching distance. So again, still long ways to go in this one. Right now, again, I think these guys now, obviously we don't know if and when something's going to change to kind of change the complexion of this race. However, I think these guys are just right now managing their equipment. They know that there's going to be a point at some point where one of these guys is going to try to make a charge on the other. So a little further back, you see Carl Engel. So again, Carl's a couple laps down, but he's had a lot of pace, and I'm looking at timing and scoring. Seth Groover, Carl Engel, Frank Ranger Jr., those guys are back where they are because of pit stop penalties. It was a 55-second stop for Seth, 57 for Carl, 55 for Frank, and that's just that additional hold, the 40-second hold on top of their pit stop. So really tough break for them. I mean, you can see the 30's got pretty solid pace there, especially for pitting at lap number 46 like he did, which is, again, right on par with Rick and Gabe and company. But now the 14 of Vicente, he's cleared all that. He's now got pretty much line of sight on those leaders. First will be that number 1 of Jerry. And back up front, though, Gabe Butler, he's got a good run here. He's going to peek to the inside of that 5, heading into turn number 3, again, within 25 to go here. So we're getting to it here. But yeah, Gabe's going to take the point another time here. We'll look out the back of that number 88. And again, he's just going to see a lot of that number 5 machine, and at some point we're going to see Rick make another move, but I think, again, Rick's just biding his time, probably trying to manage those tires. These guys make it look so easy, and so there's some strategy behind what they're going to be pulling off here. So we just got to wait and see when that move is going to happen to try to make something happen. This is now that second pack action. Now Patrick Groover's taken over the point of that one, and he's got some pretty good head of steam there in the 54. Lap time-wise, last time was a 31.72. Gabe Butler's a 31.81, so about a tenth quicker for the 54. Oh, we saw Zach Perry really wide there. Also the 17. I see these guys starting to get a little bit racy with each other. I think trying to decide, okay, who's got the most pace of the others to try to make sure that they don't lose that number 54. So like I said, everybody's starting to try to ramp it up a little bit more. And yeah, it's going to be fun to see kind of the strategies there. And you can see the 53, he's gotten around the 55. 21's going to come along with him. I think the 21 might be trying to go another spot up there too. But again, though, you can see these guys just a little bit of that wash up in entering 1, entering 3. These cars just aren't able to hug that bottom line like we kind of are used to seeing. And then talked about those guys that short pitted. There's Jim Brooks. He's starting to peek back in the mix here. Again, he is unfortunately still 2 down. But again, he's going to have a lot more grip than these guys compared to what they have at the moment. And same thing for Bud Steele. He's kind of in his own little pocket here, but he's got a ways to go to catch the leaders, unfortunately. So right now, though, like I said, here they go. Top four, all nose to tail here. Like I said, right now, Vince has the best view of the guys in front of them. And then you got Corey Buskirk, Eric Glory. They're just probably watching the race that's going on here. And actually, Ambrose, oh, he's off track. It depends where this car slides. Right now, we will stay green. He's going to probably have to try to reverse it or take a tow. But right now, that 04 down on the apron. I'll keep an eye and let you know. But right now, the car's still pretty stationary. So, and yeah, there you go. You still see him down on the apron. So right now, it's off the racing surface. So iRacing will not throw a yellow for the moment. But if that car, if it starts to try to roll back on track, then there is a potential that iRacing could throw the yellow. But right now, the car's still stationary off the racing surface. And again, these cautions thrown by iRacing. Admin's trying to stay as hands-off as they can, kind of avoid the risk or thoughts of preferential treatment and favoritism, all that. We try to let iRacing run it as best as we can. That car's still sitting there. Hopefully everything's okay. And I say a lot of times there might be like an emergency. You have to jump out of your seat or your rig and take care of whatever's going on. So now he does tow. So yeah, we will stay under green here, and yeah, hope all is well for Ambrose. They're never. You always wonder when you see someone kind of jump out abruptly, but up front though, the 4 lap difference, 3 lap difference on tires. Vince trying to make some use of them now because we're getting to it here. 17 to go there at the line. Gabe still got the point. Rick's going to try to maybe sneak. Nope, Gabe's going to close that door off. But I think now these guys are starting to try to find that spot to be in. Where can they make this move to try to get the lead of this race? And then what do they do to hold on to it? Because, again, this is definitely a very different animal than what we're used to seeing out of Daytona, Talladega. That one's a more drafting-oriented one where draft still matters here. But these guys are able to really they can actually kind of manage their own race just by how well they're able to take care of their equipment. That said, leader's pace starting to drop a little bit. It's a 32.02 for Gabe. Going back to Patrick, 31.76. So he was about a quarter of a second quicker. He's not quite still there. He's still got to catch these guys up ahead to be able to kind of sniff the draft and pull them up a little closer. But what's also going to happen is these guys right now, they're going to start to get to fighting here as we're 15 to go here. Vince is still trying to hold that outside line. You see on board with Jerry here. Jerry's got a really good view of this battle, and right behind him you got Corey Buskirk, Eric Laurie, Jack Wells. They're all right there as well. So all these guys still have a good chance at this one here. The top 7 here with coming to 16 to go. Oh, Rick gets a little tight, drifts up just a little bit to the 14. Everything's still good, no contact. But again, these guys, like I said, tires are starting to wear. They're getting to the end of what they had earlier. The 14, I think the 14 is trying to pinch him just a little bit there, and instead I don't think it really helped his cause there. But again, yeah, these guys are starting to get a little tighter, starting to be a little more aggressive. Like I said, we're getting down to it, so the chances that are going to be taken are going to ramp up just a little bit. And like I said, Vince is trying to see if he can find any way around these guys from the outside lane. Right now, he just hasn't been able to do enough to find a way around Gabe and company. Oh, so close there between the 14 and the 88 there. And you see Rick here is giving Gabe a little bit of love here, trying to give him help Gabe push a little forward. And also, of course, it's going to help his lane a little more. So right now, again, it's where do you put yourself here? We've been watching these guys, and here they come. Corey Buskirk, Eric Laurie, they're right back into the mix of this one as well. They're starting to close back up while these guys have been fighting. I still wonder about Jerry as well. Has Jerry been saving his stuff to make a late charge here in that one? I definitely am not counting out him either. Honestly, not counting anybody in these top 7 because they're all right together here as we're down to 11 to go. And then we're going to start to get to that point of risk versus reward for some of these guys. For Jerry, does he try to make that third lane happen? If he feels like he's got more pace than the guys in front, can Rick do anything to maybe try to find a way to clear himself around the 14 so he can try to lead that outside line and get to the outside quarter of Gabe? So yeah, so things are really kicking off here. 10 to go at Atlanta. Little by little here, Corey Buskirk, he's creeping in the mix there, as is Eric Laurie. Jack Walls right back into the party as well. Ed DeBoer now, he's starting to actually show back up here. He's now within 2 seconds of those guys in front. So, again, any little fault or any little mistake here, we're going to have a handful more cars back into this thing. We could probably have about 9 cars over the 7 that we currently have. But we're single digits now here. We are down to 8 to go here at the line. And you saw right there, here comes the 998, Corey Buskirk. Eric Laurie's right there now as well. Jack Walls is there. Have these guys fought too hard? Are these guys bringing the other drivers back in the fight here? This is going to be a lot of fun to see. And again, the moves are going to be a little more aggressive. Everybody's going to start to squeeze a little harder, push a little harder. And so this is where these guys got to be very careful. Yeah, right now, though, Vicente's best friend right now is that number 1 of Jerry Bergeron behind him, giving him some draft now. For a while, it was just him kind of solo on the outside lane, so now he's got some help behind. And so, again, this is where you're going to start to see that draft really start to come in as well. And I can tell you, Ed's there. He's caught these guys. He ran a 31.54 that last time by. Leaders were 32.20s. If Ed still got something left in the tank here, he could play a late charge in this one. 6 to go. Jack Walls, Eric Laurie here. They're fighting just outside of top 5. Here comes Ed, though. He's going to work the outside lane. He's going to go around the top of Tom Dixon, who's a lap down. These guys, again, just a little bit of door-to-door contact, I think, entering 3. That washed 11 up a little bit. That gave Gabe just a little bit of breathing room here. But here comes Ed. He's already looking underneath Jack Walls. Can he find a way to get around these guys? We're 5 to go here. He wants to try to find a way to get to those top 5 because Eric and Jack have just fallen off a teeny bit. Corey Buskirk's still right there in the mix here. But right now, it's pretty much, again, Gabe's kind of committed to the inside line. Rick's kind of trapped on the inside line, truth be told. And then on the outside, Vicente and Jerry, they're going to try to work together here. It looks like for the moment, we'll see at some point, does someone try to work that third lane on their own? But we're down to it here. 4 to go at the line. It looks like Ed has gotten to the outside of Eric Laurie. We'll see what he can do here. Again, a little bit of contact there again on the entry. And then Ed is all over the back of the 83 of Jack Walls. He clears Eric Laurie. A little separation now between the 14 and the 1. That's going to help the inside line. Yeah, I've got my little 4-legged announcer here. He's ready for some snuggles. I say he doesn't want to wait for this race to be over. He's got the tension that's needed. But, oh, no, Corey Buskirk on pit road. Not enough fuel, I would have to assume. Oh, that's heartbreaking with 3 to go. And we talked about who has the fuel mileage to the end. Do any of these guys, maybe do they need to start kind of pedaling a little bit to take care of their fuel? I feel safe for Vince. He went to lap 50. Ed went to lap 50. Are Gabe and Jerry and Rick, did they maybe run a little too hard? Have they burned maybe a little too much fuel for their cars? Because they've still got to go around 2 more times here at the line. Ed's worked his way up into the top 5 here. He's going to see if he can make any late charge as well. He's got 2 laps to go. He's going to have to do a lot of pushing here. Again, Gabe just washes up a teeny bit on entry. That really washes Vicente up. This could be an opening for Rick here. Can he clear the 14? Could he jump to the outside around Gabe and see if he can make a move for himself here? But look at Jerry. Jerry's going to make a big charge to the outside. as these guys are going to head to the white flag here at this time around. All right, white flag is waving. We are 1 to go. Looks like Rick's staying committed for the moment to the 88. Can he do anything right now? Oh, a little bit of contact behind the 14 and the 12. Make contact in entry. The 12 rolled out of it. So now it's going to be Jerry working the third lane by himself here. Try to make a big charge here down the back. Vince is going to go up to try to help, but right now the inside line's been looking stout. Vince is going to go back down low, looking where the momentum is. Oh, a little bit tight there for the 5 car out of 4. It looks like, well, we'll see. It's a big push on the outside here. Can Jerry get there? Jerry Bergeron going to work the outside, get the momentum. He is going to win. He's going to catch the wall too. Jerry Bergeron going to get the win at Atlanta. Coming out of 4. Big momentum. What a job at that 1 car. Let's go back here one more time. We'll take another look at this because that was a big, big move by Jerry here. And that's going to be a big win for that number 1 machine. So you can see Jerry, he's taking the outside line here. And at that point, I didn't see the help. I didn't really think he had a much of a chance there. You see Rick there, he washes up just a little bit. But then the momentum coming out of turn number 4, he's just able to keep that car opened up there. You see the contact between the 5 and the 14. These guys trying to squeeze each other as best as they can. That sends Rick down to the apron just a little bit. But then here at the line, and so we gotta get a better angle of this one so I can actually show you accurately. This will be a better one. And right there, there's the nose. Just about a tire difference there between them. And then same thing between Rick and Vicente. Super close for those two. But we're going to jump back live, and we're probably going to be seeing some celebrations up. I think we jumped. I think he started celebrating already. So what we will do is before we get to those interviews is we'll go ahead and pull up those final results for tonight's event. What a job by all the drivers, though. Caution free at a very challenging race. These guys definitely earned it tonight. As you can see, Jerry Bergeron by 19 thousandths of a second over Gabe Butler. Rick Sanchez there in third. Vicente Guerrero, Ed DeBoer are top 5. And then Jack Walls, Eric Laurie, Patrick Groover, Jacob Lee, Quabi Brooks are top 10. And then a little further back, Adam Kilday, Jason Bogart, Bob Fitzgerald, Jeremy Osborne, Mike Rimkus, Dean Wilkinson, Tom Dixon, and Corey Buskirk. And then continuing further down the order there, you got Bud Steele. Try the 2-stop strategy. Unfortunately, just did not quite pan out for him. He winds up in 19th, Zach Perry 20th, and then Nick Wing, Seth Groover, Jim Brooks, Frank Granger Jr., Carl Engel, Nathan Warner, and then unfortunately an early retirement there for the 27 of Ambrose Kniebel there in 27th. But man, what a fight there at the end. What's some great racing. That was exciting to say the least. There's gonna be some guys probably not happy that they didn't get the result they were aiming for, but I don't know. I feel like there's gonna be smiles along all these guys here. So let me hunt down that Rick fella. So we're gonna pull in Rick here tonight, our 3rd place finisher. Rick, that was an eventful race. I mean, caution-free. Obviously, this was probably one of the most handling-oriented races you guys have had in a while. I mean, you could hear you guys having a lift on entry. Obviously, the fuel was kind of right on the number as well. I mean, take us through it on the tire management. Was there any fuel management, and then the dash to the end there between you, Gabe, Rick, and you, Gabe, Jerry, and Vicente there at the end.
It was a great race, especially there at the end. A lot of door to door, and I don't know where Gary came from. He snuck up there out of the blue. I actually thought it was who's the other guy in the yellow car?
Oh, Jack.
Jack. I thought it was Jack at first, and then I saw the one when he got up there, and yeah, I think I had 41% on my right front there at the end. So yeah, it was wearing out that right front quite a bit, and you see Gabe sliding up. It's them tires are gone. Yeah, I was everything I could do to try to get him to the win, and I just ran out of it at the end. I don't know if Gary was able to save a little bit there at the end. he was able to get that little bit of run, or he just timed it right, and he got it, and it was a good run. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Good run
obviously,
by everybody.
yeah, I mean that was an amazing race. You guys did a hell of a job. Like I said, I mean for that combo, as difficult as it obviously was, I mean that was really really impressive between you guys. One thing I mean that I was definitely noticing was you were definitely pinned to the inside for a good chunk of that second run with Vince to your outside. So I mean, do you think? I mean, I'm guessing that had to have probably hurt that right front a little extra towards that latter stages.
Yeah, I was hoping I was saving enough, because I was letting off to get in there and stay behind Gabe, and uh, just at the end, I guess I was doing better than most because my partner there fell off, and I guess there was quite a few of them that were back there further than I thought.
Yeah,
But
no, tire wear definitely seemed to be the story of tonight for sure. And then on the fuel side, I mean, you went all the way to lap 50. So was there any fuel saving, or just you were able to kind of with the way you're managing your tires, kind of the fuel went along with it, or how did that work out for you?
yeah, look, I guess we started off with the way the fuel was set up that it was one stop as it was, and then having a lift like that, staying behind somebody, even with fresh tires, you got such a run draft, you have to let off or you're gonna run them over. But yeah, saved enough that I think I still had 2 or 3 more laps left when I finally came in. It's just that when everybody goes, you got to go,
Yep.
you know, stay
Well,
with them.
yeah, and I mean, I like the decision too because again, this is a track you lose a lap at pretty much regardless. So I'll say with you being the last of the leaders, it's at least one less thing kind of hovering over your heads, like, oh man, I hope there's no yellow, because this is definitely a very difficult track to get on and off of pit road, especially in a pack. So, yeah, I mean, you guys just the whole group did a really good job tonight. I know some guys are like, oh man, I needed that yellow tonight, but yeah, it was a hell of a drive by you. And like I said, you, Gabe, Jerry, Vince. Yeah, it was a lot of fun watching you all duke it out there at the end. So before we let you go, you had some awesome supporters as always up in the YouTube chat. So definitely want to give you a chance to give them some love and for any thanks and shout outs for that podium tonight.
Yeah, always shout out to Area 51 putting on great races like we did tonight. Green, white, checkered, always best out there. Um, Shout out to 40 Racewear, Whiplash Sim Cams, Cincy. Uh, Shout out to family, always supporting me, and anybody else I forgot out there. But shout out to the drivers too.
Well, great job tonight, Rick. It was a hell of a drive. It was a lot of fun watching you guys battle it out there for the win. Look forward to seeing more of you over the course of the season, man.
Thanks, buddy. We'll see you next time.
All right, we're gonna jump back. We're gonna jump one spot back, one further forward here. We're gonna grab that number 88 of Gabe Butler. Gabe, it was kind of the you and Rick show there for a majority of that race. You guys are kind of nose to tail working together at some point side by side, and then there's just kind of figuring out what lane do you want to be in, what's the goal there at the end, and I mean, I don't know about you, but for me, I didn't see that big run coming by the one there at the end. But I think before we get there, we got to go to the tires and the fuel. I mean, we went on board, we were listening. I mean, you guys were having to throttle it down a little bit, lift on entry, and just that way the cars didn't kind of burn up the right front or even just wash up the track. I mean, how difficult was it tonight compared to kind of the bread and butter Talladega Daytona?
Well, yeah, you had to drive this car tonight, and you definitely had to lift. I mean, right off the get-go, even out in clean air, I was lifting on entry, and I could tell the cars behind me as the race went on, they were getting tighter and tighter. I tried that second lane, it wasn't working for me, so I figured I'd stay on the bottom, but that actually cost me at the end there because even though I was lifting in clean air, I just didn't have the tires to stop Jerry there getting past me. But he did a hell of a job saving tires if that's what he was doing and timed his run to perfection there. So good job on his part.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really good battle, and yeah, I mean, we were watching. Obviously, Vince was fighting hard with you and Rick there on the outside, and that's kind of what I'm thinking too. Is I wonder if Jerry's just kind of sitting and trying to kind of just be like, all right, I'm gonna get there, but I'm gonna wait to show my hand until the absolute very end. And that's what I was curious as well about with Vince, and at the very end, Ed DeBoer there, they pitted on lap 50, so just like 3 to 4 laps later than you guys, but it seemed like it does a couple laps actually did make a difference. I mean, was there any thought of going any further than 46, or did you want to just make sure you kind of split it as evenly as you could?
Well, I didn't have a choice. I had to pit because I was out front. But I know talking to Vince, he went a lap or two later, hoping to keep his tires till the end, and it almost worked for him. But between me, Rick, and him battling side by side for a number of laps there, I think all three of us kind of burned our tires up a little bit. And like you said, I think Jerry was just sitting there at the back waiting, and saving his stuff, and worked out for him. But I mean, I got to say, it was a hell of a race. I mean, it was a lot of fun driving up front, and Rick was doing a hell of a job behind me, pushing. I'm sure he was getting tight as the race went on, but I mean, no cautions. This car at Atlanta can't ask for much more than that.
Yeah, no, it was a hell of a race between you guys, and yeah, I mean the whole field overall. I mean, as I mentioned with Rick too, is like this is a really tough track to race at first off, and then obviously, like I said, a track that you had to really work for compared to, like I said, where it's more strategy than outright driving. So yeah, I mean, you guys did a really, really good job, and again, also a very difficult pit entry. So I mean, it sounded like everybody was communicating well, like, hey, we're coming in, and everybody was adjusting well. So now, yeah, I'm gonna say these guys did an awesome job all throughout the field there too, especially with the 27 car field. So it was a really, really great job by all of you guys. And before we let you go though, Gabe, definitely want to give you the floor here, man. Any thanks and shouts for that runner up tonight?
Just a shout out to Eric and Bootknocker, Rick for pushing me most of the race there, Vince and Jerry for racing clean, and I mean all the drivers did a fantastic job, and of course yourself, Gael, up in the booth there by yourself tonight. Hope Matt gets the feeling better, and of course with Whiplash Sim Cams and Mission 22. Very important charity right there. So anything you can do to help them would be great.
Yeah, no, I'd say it's been good. I'd say we're getting some. I'd say obviously some drivers getting the donations, and then just bringing attention to really good stuff. I'd say so. Yeah, it's been nice to be able to bring some eyes and all that. But Gabe, as always, man, it's a pleasure working with or watching you race and hanging out with you and everything. So I'll say go enjoy this one and look forward to see you up front some more over the course of the season, man.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
All right, we got one last guy to talk to, and he is popped just right there on the top of the camera, and that is that number one of Jerry Bergeron. Jerry, I feel like you were just kind of, we're wondering, I think you're just kind of plotting there and like, let's let these guys burn their stuff up, and then I'm going to make a charge later. Cause I mean, we saw at the beginning, you had a lot of pace. You charge up to like top 3, top 2 on the outside, kind of a lot of times on your own. You kind of settle back in, and then I'm wondering, did you adjust on that final stop? Said, okay, I'm going to really settle my stuff in and make that late charge, or did the doors open for you to make that move at the end? Take us through the race there tonight, man.
Well, at the beginning, I was starting 18th, and I knew I had to move up pretty fast because Area 51 League, it's a good league. They don't have very much yellows. I've raced a few times with them, and always a good racing. So I got in the race tonight. These cars I'm not used to very much, but I guess I turned out pretty good. I did the same style with doing pickups or the big class, the same style driving, and I went up to the front, and I wore out my right front tire. Eventually, it was telling me we take care of the right front tire. That was before the first pit stop. But I moved up so many cars. I was in my place where I liked, second, third to fifth. So I knew going in the pit, I come out about that area there. So I guess it turned out good. I was waiting the last 30 laps. I was low on gas. I was missing over a gallon of gas, and I slowed down. I saved enough gas for the last 10 laps that I stepped on it and go, and let's go exterior, and I got the win.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great run. Like I said, I mean, you timed everything to perfection. And yeah, I mean, I honestly, out of that final lap out of 3 and 4, I didn't think you were going to have the momentum, but because you didn't have a big draft there on the outside either. But like I said, you took care of your stuff and made the right adjustments with the tires, like you said, after that first run. And I mean, you made it work at the end. It was a really good job by you and Gabe and Rick and everybody. You guys put on a really good battle up front, man. So I got to thank you guys for putting on such a good show there. And I'll say we'll let you get to celebrating here again in a little bit, but before we let you do that more, Jerry, definitely want to give you the floor. Any thanks and shouts for that win tonight, man?
Oh, I felt something super. I won a race at a league race last Friday night also, and I was surprised because the first time I win in that series also. And I win one tonight, so it's a great weekend for me.
That's awesome. Well, yeah. Hopefully the momentum will keep going and get some more wins under your belt, Jerry. So I know I've gotten to race with you a little bit. I think also on Friday nights here and there. So yeah, great job tonight, man. Go enjoy this one, and congrats again.
All right, thanks a lot. See you maybe next week.
I love it. All right, that is our race winner there, Jerry Bergeron in the number one. I'd say relatively new to the league, but obviously, you said a lot of talents behind the wheel of that number one. I believe, so we always talk about love first-time winners, and I believe that's going to be win number one for the number one car. Also, highest climber, no bonus points, just bragging rights, but 17 spots gained to that number one spot. Also, got to give a big shout out to Bob Fitzgerald, gained 13 spots from 26th all the way up to 13th. Dean Wilkinson, 11 spots gained up to 16th. So, a really great job by all those guys. So, yeah, again, great racing by these guys. A lot of fun. I appreciate everybody that was watching, supporting us here on Green White Checkered. Love you guys cheering on your friends, your family. It makes it a lot of fun to kind of be able to watch and be able to interact with you all as well. So, Matt, again, I hope you feel better, man. And of course, like I mentioned you see on the bottom right there, Mission 22. Again, if you're interested, if you click that link below, one of our Green White Checker TV broadcasters, Chris Matthews, raising awareness and some for donations in honor of his birthday. He's over in the Air Force now, stationed up in Alaska. Kind of miss him down here in Arizona, but he's doing well, and that's all that matters. So. So again, as always, thank you so much for watching, for supporting us here at Green White Checker TV. We will be back again on Thursday night at this track again with the Xfinity cars. So as always, until then, take care, stay safe, have a good night, everybody.